Hey, what's up, guys? My name's John. Welcome to Daily Theology. Great news from Alberta, Canada. Tim Stevens has been released from jail. This happened on the 20th, so about 3 days ago, but he's out. I'll post a link to the article that explains his release. It's not super clear. I just wanted to play a little of this video from Cross Politic. It looks like he did a full 43-minute interview, and he did mention Paul Washer's shocking youth message that, I think, is how he was converted from engineering and saved into the pastorate in 2013, I believe is what he said. So really cool story. I would encourage you to check out the Paul Washer shocking youth message. My friend that's a pastor was saved listening to that message as well. Don't mess with Paul Washer. But it's really good. It's really good. So check this out, and I'll just say a few things and then put a link for the full interview.
And so restrictions came to try to prevent that. And so churches were affected where the maximum capacity for a church, regardless of how big your auditorium is, was 15 people. For funerals. So one of those persons was dead, the maximum is 10 people. If you're outside, the maximum outdoor gathering is 5 people. And so it was really heavy-handed on the restrictions for the last number of weeks. And as my own family, we have 10 people in our family, so we can't meet with anybody outside. In Alberta, no one can come into your home. That's not allowed. Wow. And so it was like the lockdowns have been really oppressive and restrictive and really intrusive into the home, intrusive into the church.
Right.
And so we continued to gather and to practice hospitality in our home and to live our lives normally as we can as church, because Christ is worthy of his worship, and we're going to come and we're going to gather.
Amen.
But what happened on May 6th is there was our Alberta Health Authority, their lawyers went to a judge and got an injunction because there have been restaurants that have been rebelling in our province as well.
Right.
And so they got an injunction against the restaurant, and also they tried to expand it to anyone who is acting in like effect to this restaurant by continuing to defy public health measures.
Right.
So essentially, they got this injunction or restraining order against the province of Alberta,
right.
4.5 million people, that anyone hosting a gathering in contravention to the health orders can be arrested.
Right.
And so we knew the heat had kind of turned up. And so I had written letters to my wife and my children, anticipating that arrest would be possible. But as the weeks went by, it didn't happen. On May 9th, the police were outside of our church. So this was not this past Sunday, but Sunday before. The police were outside our church, and they never came in, and they never came out of their vehicles.
Right.
And then I learned after the service that they actually pulled over a gentleman leaving our church who was visiting our church because they thought he was me, and they served him a copy of this injunction. And so they got the wrong guy.
Yeah.
And so when they were there this past Sunday, in the police mind, they thought they already had served this man the injunction, and so they were coming now to arrest me, having given me warning of that injunction.
Yep.
But what had happened that week before, we were preparing for what might be an arrest.
Yeah.
But yet earlier that week, the Justice Center for Constitutional Freedom, it's a law firm here that is
So anyways, I would encourage you to check out the whole interview. It's 43 minutes, so if that's worth your time, continue to pray for him. He's out, but the battle for the ability for them to gather continues. Their church has been locked. I think this is kind of the new standard. They changed the locks on the doors of the buildings and they can't go in. So they're going to have to meet somewhere else. But he said the restrictions, you can't meet with 10 people, and outside, I think he said 5 people. I mean, I don't know how they're going to handle that. They're obviously going to have to do it illegally. And so praise the Lord for this guy continuing to preach and meet and encourage others. And remember, the unbelievers around us that are against the gospel and against the church gathering, they're not our enemies. These are people that are made in God's image, and they are held captive by Satan. They're not in their right mind. They're not thinking correctly about the gospel and the necessity to worship God. People were made to worship God and the true and living God, the triune God of the Bible, and he is worthy of worship. So if you have not yet repented and trusted in the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus Christ, make today the day. The day is coming. Matthew 24 seems like it's happening more and more around us every day. And again, every generation has probably thought that, but we want to preach the gospel. That is the message that we have, and we want to continue to gather in love and build up the body in unity. And so remember to pray for pastors across the world, across Canada, across the U.S., across even in China, other places, and it really does matter. Thanks for watching. Remember to hammer that like button, like the 95 Theses, and if you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel. Come on, what are you doing? Thank you so much, and God bless.